What if I told you that in 2016, the United States government, using the full power of the FBI and the intelligence community, opened a secret investigation into a presidential candidate based on evidence they knew was fabricated, paid for by his political opponent? This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's in the government's own report, and most Americans still don't know the full story. To understand the full scope of what happened, you need to go back to the summer of 2016. Donald Trump has just won the Republican nomination, and the establishment in Washington is in a panic. On July 31, 2016, with zero evidence of any crime, the FBI opens a counterintelligence investigation into the Trump campaign. They give it a code name that should send chills down your spine: Crossfire Hurricane. At the same time, across town, the Hillary Clinton campaign and the Democratic National Committee are quietly paying a research firm called Fusion GPS a combined $16 million. Their job? Find dirt on Trump. Fusion GPS hires a retired British intelligence officer named Christopher Steele, who produces a dossier, a collection of unverified salacious claims about Donald Trump and Russia. The FBI gets their hands on this dossier. They know it isn't verified. They know it was paid for by Trump's opponent. And yet, and this is where it gets criminal, they use it anyway. They take it to the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court and tell the judges it's credible. It is not. The Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, the FISA court, is one of the most secretive courts in America. It operates in secret. The target never knows they're being surveilled. And the FBI has to certify to the court that everything in their application is accurate. The target in this case was Carter Page, a Navy veteran and low-level Trump campaign advisor. The FBI applied for a warrant to spy on Carter Page not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times. 4 applications to secretly monitor an American citizen. And every single one of those applications was built on the Steele dossier, the document paid for by Hillary Clinton. Here's what the Inspector General found. The FBI had 17 significant errors and omissions in those FISA applications. They left out evidence that undermined their case. They failed to tell the court that the dossier was funded by the Clinton campaign. But it gets worse. An FBI attorney named Kevin Kleinsmith actually altered an email to make Carter Page look more guilty than the evidence supported. He doctored a CIA document changing as a source, meaning Page was helping the CIA, to is not a source. That's not bureaucratic incompetence. That's a federal crime. Kleinsmith pled guilty. He got probation. In October 2020, Attorney General William Barr appointed John Durham as special counsel to investigate the origins of the Russia investigation. Durham is a veteran federal prosecutor, the kind of lawyer who puts mobsters away for a living. He spends 2.5 years, issues a 306-page report, and on May 15, 2023, he drops it on the country. The media buried it within 24 hours. But here's what it says. Durham found that the FBI opened Crossfire Hurricane with almost no legitimate intelligence basis. They had confirmation bias. They were looking to confirm what they already believed, that Trump was guilty, rather than following the evidence wherever it led. Durham found that the FBI would never have opened the same kind of investigation against the Hillary Clinton campaign under the same facts. That's a 2-tiered justice system. That's the FBI putting its thumb on the scale of a presidential election. Here's the nuclear finding. Durham determined that the Steele dossier's primary sub-source, the main person who fed Steele his information, had actually been under FBI investigation as a possible Russian intelligence asset. The FBI knew this. They didn't tell the FISA court. They used his information anyway to justify spying on an American citizen and a presidential campaign. So what happened to the people responsible? James Comey, the FBI director who signed the first FISA warrant on Carter Page, went on to write a best-selling book, went on a media tour, and has never faced criminal charges. He says he was wrong and sloppy. Andrew McCabe, the deputy director who signed later warrants, was fired, but then reinstated and given his full pension back by the Biden Justice Department. Peter Strzok, the agent who led Crossfire Hurricane and texted his lover that he would stop it, referring to Trump's election, was fired. He also wrote a book and went on CNN. Kevin Kleinsmith, the man who actually committed a documented federal crime by altering an email, he received probation and was later reinstated to the D.C., barred to practice law again. None of the top officials who approved, signed, and oversaw the illegal surveillance of an American presidential campaign have faced prison time. Not one. This is what a two-tiered justice system looks like. But the story doesn't end there, because America doesn't end there. In 2025, Donald Trump returned to the White House, and he didn't forget. One of his first acts was to nominate Kash Patel as the new director of the FBI. Patel is the man who, as a congressional investigator, first uncovered the abuses in the FISA warrant process. He wrote the famous Nunes memo that blew the lid off Crossfire Hurricane. He is not there to play nice. The declassification of thousands of pages of documents has already begun. The House Judiciary Committee has released testimony and communications that paint a damning picture of politicized law enforcement at the highest levels. But here's the question every American must ask. What does it mean for the rule of law if the most powerful law enforcement agency in the country can target a political candidate using fabricated evidence, and the people who did it walk free? The answer matters. Not just for Donald Trump, not just for Republicans, but for every American who believes that justice should be blind, that the law should apply equally, and that no government agency should have the power to decide who wins an election. The Durham report didn't just expose one corrupt investigation. It exposed a system, a network of officials, attorneys, and intelligence operatives who believed they could use the power of the federal government to destroy a political opponent. They almost got away with it. But the documents are out. The testimony is on record, and the American people, when they have the full story, know exactly what it means. This is what America First Daily is built for. Cutting through the spin, naming the names, and giving you the truth that the mainstream media won't touch. If you believe every American deserves to know the full story, hit subscribe. Ring that notification bell. Share this video with someone who thinks the Russia collusion story was real, because the truth doesn't need a spin machine. It just needs to be told. America first, always.